A merchant was traveling to a distant city. On the way, he felt very sleepy. So, he tied his horse to a big tree and went to sleep under the shade of its broad branches. While he slept, a thief quietly crept up and, untying his horse, quietly walked away with it. However, the sound of the horse's hoofs woke up the merchant. "Hey, where are you going away with my horse?" Now, this thief was a very cunning one. He very calmly looked at the merchant and said, "What horse are you talking about?" This puzzled the merchant. "You are taking away my horse and you are asking me which is my horse. Be careful of what you say, okay? You can't call this your horse when you know very well that it's mine." This made the merchant furious. "How dare you call it your house? I brought it from my home." "Is that so? This horse is my tree's baby. It was born just now. Don't you go about making false accusations, okay? Or you will get into big trouble." But the merchant was not going to give up so easily. Somehow, he grabbed the thief and took him to the king's court. Every day at a certain time, the king would listen to the complaints from his people. When it was the merchant's turn, he told the king that the thief was running away with his horse. "Why were you running away with his horse?" At this, the thief very politely saluted to the king and said, "Pray, listen to me, your highness. This horse was never his. My tree gave birth to this horse just now, and I was just taking it for a ride. This man was sleeping under that tree. He woke up and started claiming that the horse is his. He's lying, your highness." "This is very bad. This horse is his tree's baby. How can you call it your own? I see that you are a dishonest man. Go away and don't trouble me again." The merchant was heartbroken. He wept his way back home. On the way, he met a fox. The fox was full of sympathy seeing the merchant in tears. So he asked, "What makes you so unhappy?" "Oh, what is the point of telling my story? A thief stole my horse. I took him to the king, but the thief told the king that the horse is his tree's baby. The king believed him and gave my horse to him." The fox thought about it for a minute and said, "Well, there is still something that you can do about it." Now the merchant was feeling a bit lighthearted and cheerful, and he wanted to know what is it that he could do. So the fox said, "Well, to start with, you can tell the king that you now have a witness, but the witness is actually scared of dogs, so if the dogs can be locked up, then the witness can come to court." Accordingly, the merchant went to the king and said that, "O king, I now have a witness, but my witness is scared of dogs, so if your highness can please lock up all the dogs, then I can get my witness to the court." The king ordered his men to lock up all the dogs and then told the merchant, "All right, you may bring your witness now." As soon as the fox got this signal from the merchant, he darted his way into the king's palace with his eyes closed. And the moment he was in the king's palace, he leant against a wall and started dozing off. The king found this really very funny and started laughing. "Ho, ho, ho, wise fox, it is you. What makes you so sleepy?" At this, the fox struggled to half open his eyes and said, "Oh, king, I was up all night eating fish. That is why I am so sleepy." "Where did you get so much fish?" "Oh, king, the river was on fire last night, so all the fishes came out on the bank. My friends and I spent the whole night eating fish, but we couldn't finish it." The king laughed so hard that his tummy nearly burst. But somehow he calmed himself down enough to talk and said, I've never heard of a stranger tale. A river on fire. This is some madman's tale. At this, the fox opened his eyes fully, looked at the king, and said, Well, if a tree can give birth to a horse, what is so strange about my story of a river being on fire? This put the king into deep thought. I see that you are right. How can a tree give birth to a horse? I see that that man has been a cheat. Soldiers, catch that thief and bring him to the court at once. 10 soldiers went out, got the thief, and brought him before the king. And when he was presented to the king, he said, Give him 50 whacks with a shoe right away. As soon as the king gave this order, all the men in the king's court took off their shoes and started whacking the thief. After 25 blows, the thief cried, Oh, please forgive me. I will not do it again, I promise. But nobody paid any attention to him. After the entire punishment was meted out, the king told him, Quickly get the horse or another 50 whacks for you. At this, the thief ran home, got the horse, and came back to hand it over to the merchant. After that, he was driven out of the country in disgrace. And as for the merchant, he was so overjoyed to get back his horse that he couldn't stop thanking and blessing the fox.